I'm ready whenever you are. Oh, it's right on. We're right on the dot.
I don't see any more people coming in. Okay, hope you can hear me. Good morning. Good morning to everyone, those of you here at the church at Westside Unitarian Universalist Church, and to those joining us on YouTube. My name is Linda Phippen, and my pronouns are she and her. As a member of the worship committee, I will be assisting with today's service. Unitarian Universalism has as its first principle the worth and dignity of every individual, regardless of their specific beliefs, and all are welcome here. And we are very glad you are joining us this morning or viewing us later online. A few minutes after today's service, there will be a Zoom coffee hour. If you want to participate and are watching the service on YouTube, you will need to exit YouTube and log on to Zoom. The Zoom link is in the Wednesday newsletter. There are quite a few announcements this morning, so I will be brief since detailed information on most of them is also available in the newsletter. If you're not already subscribed to the newsletter, you can do so by using the QR code on YouTube, and also it's on the printed order of service, or you can go to our website and there's a way to subscribe from there as well. So first of all, I want to say that Westside will be hosting Family Promise from tomorrow, February 27th, through March 4th. And I'm happy to say that we have met all of the requirements for providing gift cards for food for the families who are staying at an extended stay hotel. So thanks to everyone who contributed, so we were able to make that happen. We do have 2 adult RE sessions on Wednesday and Thursday evenings. All are welcome, and info on how to attend those meetings is in the newsletter. Starting on March 13th, Bridget Ross, who is fairly new to Westside, will be leading 4 free yoga sessions at the church. These are open to adults of any ability level. If you are interested in participating, however, you will need to register, and registration information, again, is in the newsletter. Looking forward to next month, on March 19th, the Endowment Committee is sponsoring an outdoor party here at the church with St. Patrick's Day themed food and drink, accompanied by a brief appeal to support the Westside Endowment Fund. More information will be forthcoming and is in the insert that's in your order of service. There's a little extra sheet of paper in there about what this is all about. And we just want to let you know that we do need help setting up and serving food at that event, so information on who to contact there is in that insert. A couple of other dates more in the future that you need to keep in mind are August 5th through the 8th, when Reverend Carol will be leading another Spirit Quest at Elkmont Group Camping Area. The first one of these outings a couple of years ago was very popular, so this is back by popular demand. Details on these planned activities are in the newsletter, or you can also email Reverend Carol for more information. Looking a bit further ahead to the fall, the annual fall retreat at Pickett State Park will be from Friday, November 11th through Sunday the 13th. Last year's retreat was a great success. I'm sorry I missed it. And this year's we're hoping will be as equally exciting and fun. We will have access to the lodge and the bunkhouse, but if you want to rent a cabin, they're booking up really fast and may already have been taken. So, and you can get information on making reservation in the newsletter or on the Pickett State Park website. For another fun activity, this is closer, on the second Monday, and the next one will be March 14th. Anyone is welcome to attend. It will be at the Parkside Grill on Peters Road in Knoxville. Organizers do need to know how many will be attending so they can make an appropriate reservation. Their contact information is available in the newsletter. So volunteers are needed and enthusiastically welcomed and appreciated as greeters and safety volunteers. please see the information in the newsletter for contact information on how to volunteer. And you would be most welcome to join this hardy band. I think that's all my announcements. Does anyone else have any announcements they need to make? Okay. So Reverend Carol is going to will light the chalice this morning. While I read these words from Atticus Palmer. This comes from the UUA Worship Web.
Can we sing first, Linda? Can we party a little bit first?
Yes, I'm sorry.
Can we party before we do
that.
some serious stuff?
Can you believe this? I left the music out of my notes here.
That's okay. Let's sing.
Singing of
Now,
voices.
before we sing, everyone, if you do not have a musical instrument at hand, raise your hand. Anybody come in late and not have a musical instrument sitting near? Okay, somebody help them out. They're on the seats nearby. Does anybody need? And if you don't have a musical instrument, clap. All right.
Okay, so this is going to be a familiar song to most people. It's When the Saints Go Marching In. There is a brief intro that the choir is going to get up here and sing with their masks on. We'll see how that goes. And it will be to a different tune, and then we'll go right into When the Saints Go Marching In. And as I said, we are welcoming people to participate and make noise.
Make as much noise as you can.
For those of us playing instruments, that's welcome. Okay.
Okay, you guys can do better than that. Oh, when the saints go marching, oh Lord, I want to be in their number. When the saints go marching, again, when the saints go marching, oh, when the saints go marching, oh Lord, I want to be in their number. When the saints go marching. Okay, good job, everybody. Good job. Good spirit. Good job.
Now we'll have the chalice lighting. Again, these words are from Atticus Palmer. We call this light before us in hope that we may always remain a strong community, working together to make the world a better place. When we are grieving or sad, when we are challenged, when we need help, this flame guides us out of the darkness. When we are cheerful, when we celebrate, when we accomplish a great task, when we turn to a place that makes us happy, the chalice reminds us to share our happiness with others.
Thanks, Linda. Good morning, everyone. It's good to see you. If I haven't met you yet, I'm Reverend Carol Bedeau. My pronouns are she, her, and hers, and I am privileged to serve here as minister. There is a lot going on in our world right now. A lot. There are many things to celebrate, and there are many things to grieve. So before we do anything else, I'm going to ask Linda to light our 2 community candles on the side here. We're going to light one of these candles for the people of Ukraine. And just take a moment to hold in our hearts the incredibly difficult situation they are in right now. And the other candle we light for the rest of the world, because what touches any of us touches all of us. So we are all touched by what's happening. And we don't know what that means right now. There is uncertainty. So we're going to take a minute to just honor that even though our lives today might be going on in the normal, predictable kind of way, it's on our hearts and minds that things in the world are happening. So today originally, and we're still going to talk about Mardi Gras, we had been planning to talk about Mardi Gras, but of course events in the world require that we address those too, and interestingly enough, they really do go together. The choir did something absolutely perfect in preparation for this conversation. They changed the words of the song to make them more cheerful, which is what we tend to do as humans. So the words to the song we just heard are, "We are all traveling in the footsteps of those that came before, and we'll all be reunited on that new and sunlit shore." And the lyrics we just sang are "when the sun begins to shine," but the actual lyrics are "when the sun refuses to shine." Oh Lord, when that happens, I want to be in that number. And when the trumpet sounds its call, I want to be in that number. Some say this world of trouble is the only world. This is the verse we didn't even touch. Some say this world of trouble is the only world we'll ever see, but I'm waiting for that morning when the new world is revealed. Oh, when the saints go marching in, when the saints go marching in, I want to be in that number when the saints go marching in. So, this song is about dealing with the struggles of this world and figuring out how to face them with some kind of celebration and joy. That's what we're going to talk about today. So I invite you for a minute. We're going to sound the bowl and invite ourselves to come fully into our centers. And while the bowl is sounding, we're also going to take the offering. What I want to invite you to do, whether you are in this room, or whether you are watching right this moment, or whether you're watching this 2 days from now, or a week from now, or even a year from now, ask yourself, how do I respond internally and externally to crisis? What's my response? How can I respond to this world of trouble? I'm going to invite the bowl to sound. Linda is going to introduce our offering, and I'm going to keep sounding the bowl and just invite us to come more and more and more into our centers and into this room.
So we will now be collecting an offering. The offering supports the church and the ability for us to be together in this lovely building. And it also supports our outreaches to the community and the kind of works that we like to do and feel the need to do. This quarter, we are sharing our plate with Planned Parenthood of East Tennessee, whom I guess most of you will know suffered an arson attack a few weeks ago. So a portion of the proceeds that are collected in our offering will be provided to Planned Parenthood in hope for them to rebuild and remain a force in the community.
So, as I'm sounding the bowl or inviting it to sound, I can't help but think that it sounds sometimes like that gonging of the bell, right? The tolling of a bell that calls us into presence when something serious is happening. When we were emailing earlier this week, Linda said to me, it seems a little weird to be doing a service about Mardi Gras this week. And yet, Mardi Gras will happen on Tuesday. It's going to happen on Tuesday. How do we reconcile these things in our world? This world which is often called, not just in this song, but in poetry and in literature, and in religious speaking, this world of woe. This world is filled with a lot of, maybe the nicest way to say it is contrast. There's a lot of contrast in our world. Surely we are all feeling some kind of emotion in response to the recent invasion of the Ukraine by Russia. At the same time, I know that for me, we've been watching the global drama of the Olympics, right? Which has scenes of heartwarming unity and connection and peace and collaboration and cooperation, and also disturbing stories of oppression and injustice, right? It's like a particular version of the world stage. And it's a little bit confusing to know exactly how to feel about our little blue planet right now. So I ask you to think about this. Do you feel hopeful or hopeless? Or somewhere in the middle? Do you feel numb? Do you feel neutral? Do you try not to think about it? Do you think about it all the time? I personally have different answers to those questions on different days, and sometimes different answers through the course of one day. But here it is, Mardi Gras is going to happen. So, ironically, the biggest party in the world is actually a great opportunity to talk about this contrast. They'll be celebrated on Tuesday, March 1st, in some places, like in the big celebration capital of the U.S., New Orleans. It's called Mardi Gras, which means Fat Tuesday, a day which, it used to be a day, now it's really a whole week in New Orleans, right? It's a week of revelry and excess that kicks off the Catholic season of Lent. In other parts of the world, this celebration is known as Carnivale, and it has ties to much, much, much older predecessor holidays. So its roots go all the way back to this very raucous Roman festival known as Lupercalia, which was known for its debauchery and excess. And then the Christian adaptations of that holiday, which were adapted into pre-Lent celebrations. The word Carnivale actually comes from the Latin carne, meat, and Carnival was when you would eat meat because during Lent you were going to have to skip meat. So you would eat meat at the carnival because you were going to not have it for 40 days. It's also called Shrove Tuesday. And during the Middle Ages, Shrove Tuesday, which is the same day as Mardi Gras, means the same thing. It was known as the day when you would eat all the rich things you had in your house. So you'd eat everything fatty and rich. You'd eat milk and eggs and meat and cheese and try to use up your lard. Because those things, anything rich was going to be off limits for the next 40 days in preparation for Easter. So what you're supposed to be doing for 40 days is clearing yourself, cleansing yourself, purifying yourself in preparation for this most sacred holiday of Easter. Now, when the French landed it's around what is now Mobile, Alabama, and they later moved to the site we now know as New Orleans. When the French landed in March of 1699, they called their landing spot Pont du Mardi Gras. That's Mardi Gras Point, okay? Fat Tuesday Point. And they held a little celebration there. This gave rise to the celebrations later as the settlements moved and grew and expanded to street parties and masked balls and feasting. When the Spaniards came, this is fascinating, When the Spaniards came, they outlawed all those celebrations because they thought they were inappropriate for this religious season that this was supposed to open. They were outlawed until Louisiana became a state in 1812. So, rowdy pre-Christian celebrations that were originally designed to celebrate the growth in the Roman time, in pre-Christian times, they were designed to celebrate this riot of growth and fertility and birth that came with spring. And then they became rowdy medieval celebrations designed to make feasting and gluttony and debauchery kind of the last hurrah before weeks of austerity and privation. In Catholic tradition, some of you may know this. I know I was raised Catholic, so this is familiar to me. In Catholic tradition, the day after Mardi Gras, which is Fat Tuesday, we're supposed to get fat before the starving times, the next day is Ash Wednesday, which is meant to signal to those who follow the tradition death, which is unavoidable. Ash Wednesday evokes the message that from ashes we come and unto ashes we return. The ashes themselves, which are used to actually draw symbolically a cross on the forehead, I remember very well as a child. Every Ash Wednesday, every year we went to church, we lined up, and we had ashes put on our forehead, which you were not allowed to wash off that day. They didn't come off until the next day. They are meant to symbolize mortality and repentance, preparation for leaving this earth for a better world, right? It's fascinating. And there actually is a fair amount of ambiguity in biblical references. For a UU crowd, we are not going to go into all those biblical references. If you're curious, I know you scholarly people will look it up. There's a lot of ambiguity in the biblical references that suggest we should eat, drink, and be merry before we die, all right? But this is the mood, the theme that happens around Mardi Gras. Eat, drink, and be merry, for tomorrow you shall die. What does that mean? We often think Mardi Gras is just a big party, but this was originally designed to be the big party before the big end. So when we hear that song is saying, when the sun refuses to shine, when the trumpet calls, and this world of woe is where we live, we're looking for something else. Those saints are marching towards a new world. They're marching towards salvation in the Christian tradition. So, what does that mean for UUs? What does that mean in the Unitarian Universalist tradition? Where we might, I don't know about you, but I know I've been to Mardi Gras parties. We might have celebrated Mardi Gras. But what does it actually mean? And what does it mean to celebrate in the face of death? How much do our holiday traditions, and I don't mean just Mardi Gras, how much do our holiday traditions owe to the urge to celebrate or defy darkness and to celebrate in the face of struggle? Like I said, the song says the saints are not marching to the pub or to the club. The saints are marching to salvation, to resurrection, to arrive at another world. And the bridge you have to cross to get to that other world, the threshold you have to go through, is the struggle and the strife and death. All right, so lots of UUs do not believe in another life separate from this one. They don't believe in the resurrection. We hold as a community all kinds of different theological beliefs, but there's something fascinating in this tradition that seems to me could be helpful to all of us. Certainly not all of the revelers who go to New Orleans for the week of Mardi Gras, and on average that's 1.5 million people every year. Surely they're not primarily focused on getting themselves ready for privation and repentance, right? I'm really thinking that most of them are not thinking about repentance as they have that party, right? It seems like many of our holidays, our holy days, which we turn into secular celebrations, have this underlying echo of dancing in the face of death. Holidays often come to bring us hope in times of darkness, so think about Christmas at the dark of the year. Or to bring hope in times of despair. So think about the 4th of July. This is a holiday which remembers a time that kicked off a bloody revolution, and the heroes of that day were victors in struggle and strife and tumult, right? So there's this echo. Holidays are generally designed to call us back to family and friends and values when things are difficult. They are meant to be reminders. Even the non-religious holidays have these echoes of overcoming darkness, overcoming struggle, dealing with strife in this world. Now, let me ask you a question. How many of us have partied to avoid pain? How many of us have celebrated to shove away struggle, to forget it for a little while? How often are holidays a form of distraction? And sometimes, of course, that backfires on us. Sometimes the attempt to celebrate can make us even more painfully aware of the gaps between our vision of the world we want to be in, our visions of peace and joy, and the reality in maybe our home, our heart, our family, our community, our world. This is why holidays often cause so much despair for people, because they remind us of these gaps. So, what do you think or feel about partying or celebrating? When you think of Mardi Gras, are you one of those people who wish you could be there? Are you one of those people who think, absolutely no way, that is way too much, too many people, too much excess? I'm a minister, so it's my job to ask, what's the deeper story going on here? But I can't help but wonder what's really going on that would bring 1.5 million people to party together in the streets, right? There are some rich meanings underneath there that is probably important for us. And it occurs to me that it's particularly important right now in our world, because things are pretty darned rough in the world for many people. What's happening in the Ukraine, we know, is really just the tip of the iceberg. There's actually plenty to repent of, plenty of woe, plenty of opportunities to reflect on death and destruction and oppression. So you ask the question, well, is it moral to eat and drink and be merry in the face of all that? Should we all be like staying at home and being worried and upset? Linda's question is a completely legitimate one. Should we be talking about Mardi Gras now? This week, we'll be seeing revelry on the news and on our social media feeds. But I would invite us to ask ourselves what kind of partying we're watching and what kind we tend to engage in. So here's a distinction to think about. And this is just semantic, but it's an important distinction. Celebration and partying aren't the same thing for me. The words themselves don't matter, but what they signify matters. For me, partying smacks of avoidance and denial and pretending things aren't what they are. We party to sedate ourselves. We party to numb ourselves. We party to look the other way. But I think of celebration as something completely different. Celebration is a way of saying yes to life, despite the struggle. Celebration is saying, I will choose to find the good. I will choose to affirm the good. I will choose to celebrate what is here that is working in my community, in my home, in my life. I will choose to pay attention to joy and hope, no matter what I am facing. Celebration is a way to gather together with community, to harness joy, to harness communal upliftment as a way to be energized to face the struggles. So in that sense, celebration is a way to prepare for the difficulties. That's what that deeper meaning of that song really is. I will gather with other people of like mind and celebrate what is possible. I will choose to be with people who believe that something more is available. So, This week, you're going to see the news. We're going to see images of explosions, and we're going to see a little human interest story of something positive. We're going to see Mardi Gras revelers partying and drinking to excess and numbing themselves. And we're going to see thoughtful, insightful people reflecting on possible solutions to very real problems. These are all choices we have. We have the choice to celebrate hope. We have the choice to be very aware of the world of woe and still fuel ourselves with the belief that there is good, and it's worth enjoying, celebrating, and participating in what is good as a way of facing the struggles. So I would hope for us all that this week you can find some moments of celebration. I would hope for you that this week we can find ways to dance in the face of death, not to defy it or ignore it, but to affirm the strength and beauty that exists side by side in contrast with all that needs healing in our world. This song is about saints going marching in, and we may mean something different when we say saints, but we can be the saints that march in to take action, to write letters, to build the world we dream of. We have that capacity, but not if we are in despair. Despair drains us of our energy. So, may we be the sort of saints that want to be marching in the streets for justice and healing and transforming our planet. May we join with all the generations before, as the song says, and also all the generations yet to come, in a jubilant celebration of what is always possible. There is always the dawning of a new day. We may not, all of us, believe in a salvation in another life or another world, but we know that there's another day coming. And we can show up to be sources of hope and joy and inspiration and energy to make that new day a better one than yesterday. I wish that for all of us, whatever it is that sources that joy and that hope and that ability to go forward for you, I wish that you have it this week. And I hope that this place is a place where the comfort, the encouragement, and the inspiration can be fueled for you to carry that in your heart. May it be so. Now, with that in mind, pick up your instruments again and stand up. And this time, we're going to just sing that a little bit more. And I invite you to imagine yourself. We are small. We are not trained soldiers here. We are not professionals. But by gosh, we can make a little noise for something positive. So I invite you to add in your voice, your musical sound there, as we sing a little bit more of the chorus of When the Saints Go Marching In.
We're going to do this a cappella.
We're going to do it a cappella? All right, I'll start us off. Okay. We're just going to do the chorus, all right? Oh, when the saints go marching in. Oh, when the saints go marching in. Oh, Lord, I want to be in that number. When the saints go marching in. Oh, when the saints go marching in. Oh, when the saints go marching in. Oh, Lord, I want to be in that number. When the saints... One more time. Oh, when the saints go marching in. Oh, when the saints go marching in. Oh, Lord, I want to be in that number. When the saints go marching in. At the end of our service, we extinguish our chalice, but that light of seeking for truth and our passion, our fire for justice, and the warmth of this community go with us in our hearts and in our minds and in our hands until we are together again. Go in peace and go in celebration.